First use cleaning, sacrificial alcohol run, acid run? What is all this about? Let's go find out. Hey everyone, Distilling here, one of your favorite home and hobby distillers. Yes, today I want to show you my 4 steps to doing your first clean or your first use clean. So let's put it like this. You have bought a still or you made a still, you had someone made a still for you, it doesn't matter, and you've never really run it before. The thing is, you're not really sure what's in that still. Is there still machine shavings left? Is there some residual oils or flux? And to get that clean, I like to use this first run cleaning method to really strip away all those residual oils and fluxes and make sure the still is really clean and safe to use. So obviously I've used my still before, but as it was standing for 2 years, I thought to myself, you know what, let me treat it as a first use, and it will also give me the opportunity to show you guys how to do a first use clean. To just show that having a clean and safe still is really good and proper practice. So instead of me just saying that yes, I've washed my still, I wanted to show you how I'm going to do it. So with my 4-step method, let's maybe go over the steps and then we'll discuss what's happening here on the table. So in short, I've got 4 steps. I've got an initial wash, I've got an acid run, I've got a steam run, and then I've got a sacrificial alcohol run. So step number 1 is your initial first clean. That's where I would like to disassemble everything. Now, as you can see here, I've literally disassembled everything. I've disassembled my side glasses. I've got my bubble caps even completely removed. I've got all my nuts and bolts in a holder. All the parts are loose. I even removed the thermometer on the copper head. So everything is disassembled as much as I can. The thing about that is that you want to have your still completely disassembled and you want to get to all the hooks and crannies to make sure everything is washed properly. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a warm soapy dishwashing liquid wash. We're going to make sure everything is run thoroughly through the soap. You also don't want to use too abrasive type of scrubbing. Use a soft sponge on your metals, your stainless steel and your copper, as you don't want to scratch it, you don't want to make it look faded. For the copper part, I also want to do a little bit of extra care. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make up a light citric acid mixture to make sure that I clean the copper sides as well. It will help to oxidize the copper and remove all the tarnishes and actually lighten it up again. For the citric acid, if you don't have citric acid, you can use vinegar as well. A light vinegar warm water mixture will definitely do the same thing. I have got some citric acid, so I'm going to use my citric acid. So for a copper cleaning, I would recommend a 5 to 7% strength citric acid in a water mixture. So that's roughly about 50 to 70 grams per 1 liter of water. You get that mixture, you stir it until all the citric acid is dissolved, and then you can go ahead. Also try to use gloves, as the citric acid will not eat your hands away, but being exposed to the citric acid the whole time can make it feel almost dry and dull by the end of the day. So use gloves, it will definitely help. Alright, that's going to be for the copper bits. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make up the citric acid mixture first, get it in the stainless steel bucket, put all the copper bits inside and then let it lie while I then soap clean all the rest. The idea is then to have it oxidized and cleaned up nicely. After that, I will just rinse it. I'm not going to clean or scrub it anymore. Just going to rinse it nicely. And then we're going to head for step number 2. So step number 2 is going to be our vinegar run or acid run. So the acid run is using vinegar or citric acid. And the idea behind that is to have a acidic vapor running through your still. The acidic vapor will then also remove any oils or fluxes that's inside your still and will also help to passivate the metal, especially on the copper bits, because you want to have a little bit of protection layer inside your still. So what we're going to do is my method or my mixture that I use 750 milliliters and 2 liters of water for every 5 liters capacity of the boiler. So I've got a 13 liter boiler, but today I'm going to treat it as a 10 liter just to make the maths a little bit easier. So I'm going to use then 2 750 milliliter bottles of vinegar, and I'm going to add 4 liters of water inside the still. Now you can use citric acid if you're comfortable with that. Use again still at 5 to 7% strength acidic run. You can even use your vinegar and then add a little bit of citric acid if you feel like you want to make sure everything or that acidic run is good and proper. You can do that. So we will add our vinegar, add our water, and we will start up a still as normal. Cooling water open, and you will let that acidic vapor run through your still. We then want to capture about 1 liter of distillate for every 5 liters capacity. So we then going to capture about 2 liters at the end of the day. Obviously it's going to be very vinegar, very acidic, so it's not drinkable at all. So you just throw away everything after it's done. So after we're done with our vinegar run, we are going to go to step number 3. That is our steam run or our pure water run. So we're not even going to rinse out our still after the acidic run. We're just going to shake the boiler a little bit and then put in 50% capacity of your boiler. So I'm going to then add 5 liters of water into the boiler. You will start up your distillation again. This time we will close all the cooling water. We want to run the whole still hot, and we actually want that steam vapor to run through the entire still and all the way out the parrot, or whatever method of capturing you have of your distillate. As soon as you see steam vapors passing out of your parrot or out of your capturing section, time for about 5 minutes and let that steam run. You want to have that hot steam vapor run through the entire still and make sure everything gets heated up properly. That also makes sure that it will remove any of the last little bit of vinegar smells that's still inside the still. It will take it completely out. Let it run for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, get your cooling water a little bit open, and then we will cover about 40% of what we added. So we added 5 liters, we will recover about just over 2 liters. So I'm going to make it some 2 liters, I'm going to recover, then I know it's fine. The whole thing is that you just want to make sure it runs through a little bit, and you at least capture it a little bit to make sure that it has run through. The fourth and last step is going to be your sacrificial alcohol run. So with the sacrificial alcohol run, you want to have that first alcohol running through your still, alcohol vapors passing through everything. You can do it in a lot of ways. You can make a cheap sugar wash, charge your boiler with it and let it run and capture your distillate. You can have a cheap vodka, buy 2 bottles of vodka, add it into your still and run it. Or if you have some neutral grain spirits left from something, you can use that as well. So my idea, what I normally do is that I take 750 milliliters of vodka with 750 milliliters of water per 5 liter capacity. So treating it as a 5 liter today, I want to use 1.5 liters of vodka with 1.5 liters of water and then run my still. Now the thing is, I don't have vodka today, but I do got this neutral grain spirit that I've made more than 2 years ago. I know the ABV is a little bit higher, so I might use a little bit less or more water. The thing is, you still want to have that alcohol running through your still. So that's why you can even use a sugar wash. Even the sugar wash is low in starting ABV, you will still have got that alcohol vapors passing through your still. Now the thing is, your sacrificial run is exactly that. It's alcohol that you sacrifice. So it's not good to drink it. It's not that it's not safe, it's just not going to taste nice. So I would rather say, treat it as a sacrificial run, get cheap vodka or have neutral grain spirits that you have, or make a plain sugar wash and run it through your still. It's just going to be a sacrificial way, and also making sure that your still is ready for that first use and it's safe at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, we still want to focus a little bit on safety, and we don't want to get any unwanted flavors or off smells or anything in our hard working distillate that we have fermented and distilled. All right, so quick recap. We have 4 steps. We have initial clean, we've got an acid run, steam run, and sacrificial alcohol run. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take all of this to the kitchen, get the warm water, soapy water, and let it wash. And then initially you're going to do the copper bits inside the stainless steel and let it lie. And then once we're done there, we'll go outside for the acid run. So let me pack everything to the kitchen and I'll chat to you guys again. All right, we're in the kitchen. So okay, first is our step one is initial wash. Part of the initial wash is the copper care. So what I have got now, I've got all my copper bits. See the limbic head. The limbic head do have got a shot away and some denting. I can actually feel it on the inside as well. So it's probably while it was being transported or something, it might have hit something, I don't know. But it's not too bad, and it's at the back, so it's not too hectic. All right, also my bubble cap. The 4-inch bubble cap have got everything disassembled. So this will be your normal cap, and then this will be your downcomer cap. You guys can check out my video for bubble caps versus perforated plates, where I can explain it a little bit better. Also my perforated plate that I used in my sight glass for my gin making, and then the small perforated plates with their bubble caps that's in the column still, the small glass column still. So yes, everything disassembled. So I figured out I'm gonna need more or less 5 liters of hot water. So if I'm still going on a 5 grams per liter, I'm looking at 250 grams for my 5 liters of citric acid, diluted citric acid that I'm gonna make up. So I've got my citric acid and I've got my scale. So I'm gonna count out 250 grams just to make sure that I have enough. It's going. It's looking like quite a lot, but okay. It's going to make a very diluted mixture, so that's okay. Alright, almost there. I must actually see here locally where I can get citric acid as well as potassium carbonate. As soon as I start to do more distillations and fermentations, I needed to balance out my fermentation, the pH of my fermentation. Citric acid to bring the pH down and potassium carbonate to increase the pH. But we'll get there. And if any local guys are listening, you're more than welcome to get hold of me and tell me where your shops are. I would definitely like to use it. Alright, as I'm getting closer, I'm using a little bit less, 245. Getting there, 249. Why is everything jumping around? Okay, 250. Alright, so I've got 250 grams of citric acid that I'm going to add. And like I said, plan is to add 5 liters of water. I've got some hot water or boiling water that I made up just to help to get the, to get it melted better, to get it dissolved better. There's the word. Just to have some hot water just to have it dissolved a little bit better. So I'm going to add a hot water and then we'll start to put in everything. Get it a nice stir and then we'll add everything. So in here I know I've got 1.5 liters of water. Just adding this, and you can see it's nice and hot. That's what we want. The metal changing, deforming due to the hotness, but that's fine. Right, I can see it's already dissolving actually. You can see the hot water is really helping. So actually not needing to stir a lot. I've got 2.5 liters now. We'll just fill it up until I have my 5 liters. Okay, got my 5 liters in. I want to see now, once I put everything in, how it's going to look. How much water do I still need to add? Because the fact is, I want to have the copperhead especially fully submerged. Obviously the small bits is going to be easy, but it's this guy that's the main thing. So it's about more than 3/4, but I will definitely add some more. These ones I'm just gonna literally dump in, pour them around. Alright, that was noisy. Okay, got everything in. I will add a little bit of more water just to make sure everything is submerged. And then, like I said, this will just stay like this until I'm done with the soapy clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more water until I know it's fully submerged. And then I will start to carry everything over to the kitchen so that we can start our soapy wash as well. All the copper bits are now submerged. I see I'm using a little bit more water than I thought, so that's why I had to add some more citric acid as well. So I can actually already start to see how the copper is starting to become pink and then getting oxidized, so I'm happy for that. So like I said, I'm just going to let this stand like this while I do the soap clean of the rest. So I think, let me carry everything to the kitchen and then we'll start there. Alright, back in the kitchen. So I've got everything sorted on this side. Thank you for my wife for helping me organizing the camera angle. I think it's pretty cool, so you guys can actually see how I'm washing and doing the stuff. So just got normal dishwashing soap that I'm going to have here. Just gonna add it. Here we go. Make sure it's in there. And I've added a little bit of boiling water just to make sure it's nice and hot. Just not to use as much hot water from the tap. So the plan is I'm going to start with the glass, and then from the glass going to go to the seals. I'm going to leave the seals in a little bit to make sure that they also thoroughly cleaned or just soaked for a while. And then I'm going to go through all the stainless. You guys will enjoy it, and definitely going to have my washing on this side, rinsing here, a little bit of drip dry, put it on the other side, and as the space is getting a little bit more limited, I'll start to transfer it there to the back where the stainless steel pot is with the copper. I can definitely see that copper is getting a little bit more pink. It's looking actually very stunning already, so it's definitely working. But yes, let me get cracking and enjoy it. As we are gonna do the acid run after this, it's not needed to it's not needed to dry out everything 100%. As long as it's a little bit more dry and easy for assembly, then it's alright. So it doesn't need to be 100% air dried. We are gonna distill after this, so I'm just gonna wash it, let it dry, rub it a little bit or dry it a little bit with the hand towel, and then get ready for assembly. I was talking about the seals and getting it more soaked. I can see that they have discolored a little bit, especially on the larger one that's directly in contact with the copper parts. You can definitely see it has discolored a little bit. So I want to let it actually lie and soak a little bit and just see if it will come out a little bit better. So I'm going to leave it there in the corner and it's going to soak. This is the 2 seals that we use for the side glass, and that's, like I said, this is the one that had a bit chipped away that I'm worried a little bit about. But fortunate, it is sealing on the flat surface in the front, and you can see it's actually going past that piece that's chipped away, and this one as well. So I think it might actually still work. I hope so. We will definitely test it today and see. Got now 18 degrees Celsius and about 63 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to put it in the water and let's see how hot my water is. If you do have a condenser, don't worry too much about getting water into the cooling water side. The cooling water is going to flush that part as well. So our acid run and our steam run or sacrificial run will be on the inside of the condenser, but the outside will just be cooling water. So the cooling water itself will clean that part or rinse out any soapy water that's there. So don't be worried too much about the cooling water side. Alright, let's see. So it went up to about 35 degrees Celsius or 94, 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Interesting. It's lekker warm, especially on a little bit of a winter day. It can be nice, but it's starting to get warm. We are heading to the end of our winter here in South Africa, and we are heading slightly into spring. Seasons is definitely changing, so it will get a little bit warmer. It makes it nice for distilling as well. Clams, debating whether I want to wash them, because they just go on the outside. I'm thinking actually not to dip them in the water. Yes, I think I'm going to leave the clams just there, as they're on the outside. They're not really influencing any on the distillate or the distilling process. So clams I'm fine with. I'm going to put them aside. So the last one I have now is the boiler. And like I said, there is a ring here that I definitely distilled something and either didn't clean it properly or what, not sure. But yeah, let's get this guy also washed out. It looks a little bit better, but I think as soon as, by the time we've done with the steam distillation or the steam run, we'll definitely see a change. I think the acid will also help with the ring. It's not a bad ring. Thinking of your kettle, it also got a little bit of staining inside, so it's not hectic, but it's just something that I've noticed and wasn't 100% sure why I didn't clean it properly the previous time, or where did the ring come from, but it's okay. I actually want to check, while I still got some of these soapy water, I want to have a look at the copper and maybe just clean or rinse a bit of the copper as well. But like I said, I don't really want to have it in the soapy water, so I might just rinse it with some plain water. So maybe we will just empty out this and then get the copper in here, so you guys can actually also see how it ended up looking. Alright, So let's see, leaving that there. Let me bring the copper and then we have a look. Got the bucket a little bit fuller than I thought, and it was a little bit heavy. But yeah, let's have a look. Alright, let's first get rid of the soapy water. I'm gonna get fresh water in here. Oh yeah, the seals are still in here. Alright, let's check. So obviously the larger 4-inch seal is looking okay. It's as if the glass one is taking most of the strain. The glass side glass, as I permanently have that perforated plate in it, and it's also a lot of times when I do my botanicals, gin or any botanical type of infusion, the rest of the seals doesn't look too bad. Quite happy of how they come out. So just rinse them a little bit, leave them there. Like I said, this one is still, but it's fine. It's not going to be too hectic. Let me get the soapy water out, and then we will rinse out the copper as well. Especially when you do have got copper and you do clean it with acid, citric acid or vinegar, you do want to rinse it out to make sure that you stop the oxidizing of the copper. If you, for argument's sake, just take it out now and leave it to air dry, you might have a chance that some of the residual citric acid might still be on the copper, and it will actually keep on oxidizing it, and then you have a risk of actually damaging your copper, and we don't want that. So I'm rather gonna have a little bit of water and rinse the copper out thoroughly and make sure everything is rinsed properly. Alright, while the water is filling there on that side, let's take out this guy and see how it looks. Definitely looking much nicer. You can see it's much lighter, brighter. It almost gives me that light pink color. Strange enough, if we do leave it now, by the end of the day it will get a little bit darker again, but it's okay. I know at least now it's clean. Inside as well, I can see it's actually clean nice as well. You can't probably see much, but yes, I can see it really looks better. So now, like I said, just giving it a good rinse to make sure that any citric acid that's still on here is off, and that will prevent further oxidation. But this is what I wanted. I wanted to get that dark copper color off and get it looking nice and proper again. Strange, now I can see a lot more dents on this guy. This copper head has been through a little bit of war. I can see there's some small denting there, scratches, and then here at the back is the big dent. Can't really like I see on the camera, but yes, there's my big dent. But yes, it looks okay. I'm happy. Let's have a look at these ones. Now let me get, I want to put my hand, now it's not going to fall off. It's, yeah, like I said, it's better to wear some gloves if you know you're going to stick your hand in here and do a little bit of cleaning of them. But at this moment I'm just going to scoop them out, get them in water. You can definitely see it. They're also looking much better. I can see on the bubble caps they definitely have got still some residual things on it. I might see if I can just give them a little bit of a rub with the sponge, how they will look. But definitely the citric acid has done its job, what I wanted to do. No, I can't get that perforated out. We'll check it later. But yeah, everything really looks nice. So let me finish up fishing out all of this, and then we'll get cracking.
2. Let me take this away. I want to get rid of some of this level in here so I can reach for that. Just want to empty it a little bit. You can definitely see that water in here is a little bit of a color, almost like that light green copper color. Just shows that it has oxidized a little bit. Alright, everything is out. Get that guy back there. Like I can see, definitely some residual something on there. Honestly can't remember what I distilled last, and then I took the time to really clean the still, or was it just that in that time we were in such a hurry of packing up that I just ran the still and then rinsed it out and never properly washed it. I honestly can't remember, but it's okay, and that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this first clean, is to make sure that everything is nice and clean. Yes, I can definitely see if I just wipe a little bit, it's definitely coming out much cleaner. So yeah, I think the citric acid already made it looser, so that's great. So I'm just going to finish up with all of these bottle caps, and then we will get to a little bit of drying, assembly, and then we'll get ready for the acid run. Food for thought. So your copper in your still, I was talking about the importance of having copper in your still. So your copper, it actually removes the sulfites from your wash on your mash while you're distilling, and you can especially see now on this one, to bring it a little bit near, how dirty that is. So that's all your sulfites that's now been stucking on the copper, and that's preventing it from you drinking it. So that's why it's important to have that little bit of copper in your still, and the citric acid has really helped getting that loose. And if I do just a little bit rubbing on the sponge, I can see it getting much cleaner, so it's ready for our next run. I can see that the small glass columns bubble caps is actually in a much nicer condition, they're much pinker. I can see that I haven't really used that glass column a lot. I definitely used the 4-inch bubble tray or 4-inch bubble cap tray a lot, so I can definitely see those bubble caps has done the job. They've got the most sulfite stuck onto them or any other unwanted things on it. So I'm glad to see that it does work, and it does its job very well, so I'm very glad for that. Give you an idea, so this is the bubble cap, the glass column, and this is the 4-inch bubble cap. You can see it's looking even much darker, but yes, definitely looking still nice, but this is still working. So I'm happy for now. I'm definitely just gonna dry off and get ready for reassembly. I'll also empty the citric acid as well. You can flush it through the drain, it's fine. Will also help to clean up the drain a little bit. But I think the first step went very well. Showed you guys that it is a bit of effort, but it's worth doing that little bit of effort. So just going to dry off and then assemble. Like I said, it's not about getting it completely dry, it's just getting a little bit of the excess water off, so that when you do assemble you don't got everything wet all over. so it's just like a dab dry almost, and then it will be fine. You can actually see most of these parts is actually already nice and dry, so I'm not going to bother too much on them. Biggest part now is going to be reassembling the glass column as well as the 4-inch side glass. So I'm going to do that on the table, or yeah, maybe I'll do some right here, but I'm going to get that assembled, and then once that is fully assembled, then I think we will go take everything outside and get ready for the acid run. Alright, finally outside. So I've got my induction plate with my plate adapter. Like I said, this is just to help with the stainless steel warming up properly, as it's not fully magnetic, so it doesn't really pick up on the induction plate. This adapter does help. It does sometimes feel a little bit unsteady, but that's why I got the retrod as well behind me, but we will use the retrod as well. So currently boiler, got it empty, so I will definitely now just add it there. Always try to put it up more in the middle of the plate, and then have the plate more or less in the middle, so it's fairly lined up. Then I'm happy. Not 100% sure yet how we're going to build this still. We'll check. This is not where I'm going to distill every day. I'm rather going to distill inside there, the kitchen. But this is just put with vinegar run. It does have a like a vinegar smell, so I rather would be outside. It's quite windy as well today, so it actually will help a lot. So like I said, I've got 750 milliliters of vinegar with 2 liters of water for every 5 liter capacity. 30 liter boiler, I'm gonna make it 10 liters for today, so I'm gonna add 2 bottles of 750 and adding 4 liters of water. This is just normal house brand vinegar that I bought from the store. Nothing special, cheapest vinegar that I got. Like I said, you can also use citric acid to do the same run. It's just to get that acidic vapor through the still. That's what we're after. So any cheap vodka that you have, even if you have got any cheap vinegar you have, even if it's vinegar you made yourself, you can use that. But yes, just adding it in. I've already got measured out 4 liters of water there, so we will just add that as well. You can definitely smell the vinegar. Alright. Alright, trying to get everything out of the way. So it's actually just sitting there. It's about just below halfway. Like I said, it's 13 liter. We're treating it 10 liters today, so we will definitely see a little bit of activity in the cyclos, so that's quite nice. I can also see it's above the ring that I've been talking about, so I'm glad for that as well. So it means that it will boil above that ring, so it will also try and clean that ring up as well. So I'm going to assemble now the rest, and then we'll get the cooling water on as well. Yes, I almost forgot about the cooling water. So yes, let me assemble the still, see how we can properly align it, and then we'll get the cooling water sorted. Go. I really do like this modular still. Set up few block pieces, easy to assemble. just going to get the reach rod in to keep it stabilized, and then we'll get the cooling water sorted. Alright, got everything set up more or less like I wanted it. I did see that everything's standing a little bit on an angle, so I did put the reach rod here, and I actually put a rock on just to make sure it's nice and secure. I'm going to use my plastic holder just to capture, and then we can also see if we can get 2 liters out, then I will be happy. So running over the cooling water, so obviously red I keep for hot water, whatever comes out of the still. So I will just check, make sure everything is hooked in nicely and secure. So I do like these are like quick release couplings, so obviously it can't, but as soon as you pull it in, then it's easy to release. So I definitely like these. Always just make sure that every one of them is nice and tight. So hot water, or say coming from the cooling columns or the condenser or the defraginator or reflux condenser, the hot water will then go wherever you want it to go. Plan is to push it back into the tanks and then try and recirculate that. I haven't got a pump yet, so today I'm just going to use the normal council or municipal water, get it connected to the cooling water sites. But the hot water or warmer water I do want to add into this tank, so that I can just have an idea of how much water I do use. I'm then going to transfer that water then back into the big tank at the back. Also, defraginator and condenser here, I will have my hot outlets on top, because you want the cold water to fill from the bottom and then overflow from the top. Same here, you want it to fill all the way and then out the top. So just going to connect these. On the cooling water itself, I'm just connecting to a normal garden hose I've got right there. Tap is just a little bit down there. So on the inlets, I've got 2. Both of them's got needle valves on, so it's going to be one for the reflux condenser and one for the main condenser. At this stage I will actually close them completely and then just open them maybe 2 turns each and just check how it looks. If I do see that it's too little cooling water, I might open them up a little bit more, but I'm trying to save a little bit on cooling water today, so I'm definitely going to try and pinch it. But typically if you do a fast run, you want to keep your cooling water open fully, but I will just see how it looks. So let me connect the cooling water and then we will start up this still and see how it goes. These cooling pipes have a will of their own. They're not entirely lying where I wanted to lie today, but we'll get it figured out. Alright, so more or less we got everything going. So the induction stove has got, I can't remember the increments of 250 or 200, or does it go 200, 500, 800, but it doesn't matter. But I'm going to try and boost it today at maximum, the 200 watt, because obviously I want it to be a fast run. So I'm definitely going to see how we get it. Put it on 2000 watts, so it will give me a constant 2000 watts through the still. Yes, it's definitely getting hot. So we will now leave it and let it heat up. Obviously we will start to see a little bit of vapors here and vapors in the glass as well. Temperatures will rise and then we'll go through. I'm leaving the parrot at the bottom open for now, so we will first distillate. We'll come out of the bottom, and then I will close it, and then we'll push it out of the parrot as well. I will then just open the cooling water. Obviously it's not immediately needed, but let me just get the cooling water open in any case, so we know that both the condenser and defraginator will have cooling water. And then it's just the waiting game. That's part of distillation. What I enjoy, it taught you patience, to know that when you want to do a run, you can set up everything and then it's waiting for it. I also like to see, especially when things starts to get alive, to see how it bubbles. So I'll keep the video on while it's still heating up, and as soon as it starts to get more lively, I will do a little bit more closer videos, and then it's all about getting that distillate out. So yes, this is our step number 2, acid run, where we use vinegar, no citric acid today, and hope you guys enjoy it. Deciding to close the cooling water on the needle valves for now, so we will just wait till it gets hot up. It's still very cold. Feel that there is heat, so it will just heat up now nice and slowly, and by the time it starts to get vapors here, I will then start to open up the cooling waters. Open it very slowly, but the magic number I want to see here is anything from after 65 to 70 degrees Celsius, then I know vapors is definitely coming past. Around there as well, anything from 65 to 70 degrees Celsius, then I know. Like I said, when we were up in Gauteng, normally here by between 68 and 72 degrees Celsius was my sweet spot, especially if I was doing a nice reflux run. But as we are now at a very lower altitude right next to the coast, it's going to be interesting to see how it has changed. We will not typically see it today, as we're only having vinegar and water, and also the steam runs also just going to have water. We will see it in the sacrificial run, what will happen, then we'll get more or less an idea of what the temperature is doing. Alright, step away for a few seconds and things are starting to get alive. I can really see there's some boiling in the boiler, a lot more activity in the side glass. Temperature is definitely rising, and I can slowly see there's some condensate or no, vapors condensing starting to form on the glass as well. Where I am currently now, there is a little bit of a wind that blows through, so I think that's also helping why you would see there's a lot of condensing on the glass, because it's keeping it nice and cool. I can feel I can't touch there anymore. Yes, still alright. Here I can touch. Copperhead as well, I can still touch, but I can definitely see temperatures rising quite rapidly. So I am going to open up the cooling waters as well, just pinching it a little bit open, like I said, maybe 2 turns, just to get an idea that there is cooling water flowing through. We'll open up this guy first. Start to hear cooling water falling. I might just move it a little bit so that it's not too loud. And this guy I will just also open up a little bit. There we go. So then I can know cooling water is definitely flowing through. Temperature is now almost at 60 degrees, 140 Fahrenheit. So definitely things are starting to happen. Very glad. Like I say, keeping parrot at the bottom open, so we will see what's going to happen. Up here it's still 20 degrees, still the same as it was this morning, well, earlier when we started. So definitely yeah, see, it's already getting here hot to the touch here. So all that vapors is now pushing up. So soon we will definitely start to see this one rising. Just going to move that water a little bit and we'll keep an eye on it. Alright, let's have a look what we can see. So yes, you can see it's increasing quite a lot now at 80 degrees Celsius, 175 Fahrenheit, increasing nicely. Starting to see a little bit of activity here on the bubble tray as well, so it's definitely looking good. Temperature on top still staying at 20, so obviously still all the heat is around getting here. So what's also happening is that you're having everything is cold, room temperature 20 degrees Celsius. As the vapors heat up, it is increasing the stainless steel as well as the copper, but as it's heating up, the steel or the metal is taking the heat away from the vapor, so then the vapor then condenses, and that's now what we get, the reflux. So that's what we're seeing right lying there at the bottom, it's all the reflux. So even though it's boiling at the bottom and your vapors are rising, it's condensing again and it's starting to flow back as reflux. and you will see, you can see definitely now it's starting to push up there as well, because as it's heating up to a point where it cannot condense anymore, or the reflux is not as potent anymore, then it goes to the next phase and the next phase. So now it's heating up this glass tube, I can feel, that's why it's condensing a lot, and it will do the second, the third and the fourth as well. So it's what we want in distillation. You want that reflux, because the reflux helps to purify your spirit or your distillate as well. The more reflux you have, the better it cleans it and brings out a more higher ABV coming through. You also have to find that balance of reflux, especially if you want something with a lot of flavor. You don't want as much reflux, that's why we then tend to use a pot still. But if you're doing typically a high spirit run like a vodka run, you want that a lot of reflux because you want a high ABV as well. So things are looking very well. Starting to see a lot of condensation happening here as well. Still hasn't risen yet, so it's getting there. It's now up to this point. Temperature is now at 100 degrees Celsius because it's water. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius here in South Africa. So definitely it's now clean vapor that's definitely passing through. It's coming up to here. For interest's sake, I want to open up the reflux a bit more and just see if, or open up the cooling water on the reflux condenser to see if you can actually cool it down more to push it down, because that's also a reason why the temperature might not have increased as I thought, because all the cooling water here is pushing the reflux down. So definitely seeing a lot of activities. That's good. I want to see more boiling here at the bottom, but it's as if it's just staying there and it's not really being as active as I thought it would. But we'll keep an eye on it. It's still heating up, definitely still boiling there. Temperature is under 100. So cooling water is filling very slowly, but it's alright. So I'm happy at how it looks, giving us some chance to stable out a little bit. Here's nice and cold. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to slowly start to close on the cooling water of the reflux condenser, as I actually want to see that hot vapor starting to pass through now as well. I'm happy to seeing that the reflux condenser is working, but it's not the idea today to have it working. I actually want to get that vapors out and over to the condensing side as well, the distillate side. Alright, cooling water on the reflux condenser is now fully closed, so you will start to feel that it's heating up. So far I can definitely feel so cool up here, getting hot here, so definitely heating up. This guy is hot to the touch, that one is getting hot now, so definitely starting to look good. So let's see, staying there, it's picking up. There you can see it's picking up nicely, 35 degrees, hitting 40. So definitely you can see the reflux condenser is doing what it's supposed to do. It's condensing your vapors here and pushing it down the still, forcing that reflux back, purifying your spirit. As soon as you close your cooling water here, it allows the vapor to pass through. Defragminator reflux condenser, one of those small magic bits of equipment that really helps to purify your spirits. So we're at 45 degrees Celsius, heating about, well, already passing 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Definitely moving up like a ref counter now. So it will start to pass through as well. Yes, I can feel it's starting to get hot here. So it will pass through. So we will tend to see distillate coming out shortly. I'm going to open a little bit of cooling water here. So yes, it's nice to see the still back in action again. It's good to know. It's also a good point now is just to check everything. No leaks here. Can't see any leaks here. Things are looking well. Here as well, no leaks that I can visually see. Things are looking good. Means that I did some proper fitting and also proper assembly on the glass column and the glass side glass as well. So now we can start to see a lot more activity happening, because you're now allowing the vapors to pass through. So that instead of everything pushing down and causing more reflux, it's now pushing everything through. Temperature is increasing a lot. It's passing 95 degrees Celsius, just over 200 degrees Fahrenheit at this moment. So I am actually expecting to see some vapor soon. It's getting hot, so I can't even touch it anymore. So it's definitely going to start to push vapor through. It's now just to see that how much of the cooling water do I have got open here. Will it allow to condense the vapors? Because we don't really want vapors now to pass through during our steam run. That's the idea. But for the acid run, we don't want, or not that we don't want, we don't need to have that vapors just straight through. There you can see drips are starting, so that's good. And definitely can smell that vinegar. So it's doing what it's supposed to do, have that acidic vapor passing through your still. So just gonna have a drip for a while, maybe catch maybe like 500 mils through, and then I'm gonna close so that it can actually fill the parrot as well. But yes, things are looking very well. Nice activity. This one's having a very nice activity, you can see it. So it's as if it's not flooding yet, but it's nearing a flood. You can see there's a lot of liquid on this plate, but it's okay. If all of these were now looking like that, flooding like that, I would then start to decrease on my temperature, because I've got too much vapor passing through and it's actually a lot of reflux happening. Like I said, I think it's due to the cold wind that's also passing through here, is that it's condensing quite a lot. Reflux is now fully closed. Yeah, I can't even touch there anymore. So it's fine. I'm really happy with what it is. Quick recap. We got just over 100 degrees Celsius, about 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Here we got about a 98 degrees Celsius, just under 210 degrees Fahrenheit. So looking very well. Still is stabilizing out quite nicely. Vapors, distillate is coming out nicely. It's now a more constant drip than just 11111. So like I said, I'll recover to about 500 moles, close the parrot, and then we'll go for a 2 liter distillate recovery. I think that's it for now. I'm gonna let it run, keep an eye on it, and as soon as we're ready to close the parrot, I would quickly do a recap again, and then that's it. So step 2, acid run, acidic vapor passing through the still, cleaning the last bit of residual oils and fluxes, as well as passivating the stainless and the copper that's inside the still. Alright, I'm back. A few things has changed. Managed to get my 2 liters of acidic distillate out. Strong vinegar smell. Also stopped the process, let it cool down a little bit just for me to be able to handle it. Then just empty the boiler, rinse it once with water, and then I added half of the capacity, just over 5 liters of water back into the boiler. Boiled it a little bit with the kettle just to get a little bit hot, just to help that initial boil, that you don't take that long, as we do want this process to speed up quite a bit. So do just got clean water in here. I haven't rinsed out any of the equipment, so there is still some acid vinegar-ish water inside the still, and that's the process that we want to do now. Is the steam run. Step number 3 is that we want to have that pure water vapors passing through the still and then removing any of the last bit of vinegar or acid that's still in the still. We will also let it boil through all the vapors, and we'll keep the cooling water closed, and we will have vapor coming out here, and we'll let it run for 5 minutes, that there's just clean steam passing through this whole still, and then we will capture about 40% of what we've added. So we'll just cover roughly about 2 liters again. The wind has picked up quite a lot now. As you can see, the camera is shaking a little bit on the tripod stand, but I think that's why also things are taking a bit longer than I thought, because the wind is keeping everything cool, so you've got a lot of reflux pushing down the still again. So it's going to be interesting. It is definitely hot, so hopefully it will start to boil. Meantime, I'm just going to empty this because I still want to use this as well, and I don't want to throw it in the garden. I'll throw it down the drain. I don't want to put the vinegar in the garden. But for now, cooling water is connected, but it is still closed. Nothing is coming out yet, and temperatures are still roughly just over the 20 degrees Celsius, about 72 degrees Fahrenheit. This one is roughly on 20, so you can see everything has cooled down slightly. Like I said, the wind might also factor as well, but I'm gonna empty this, keep an eye on this, and as soon as it starts to boil and it's went through the whole still and steam starts to come out, I will quickly do a video take again just to show you guys how it looks. And then, like I said, I'll run it for 5 minutes, close or open cooling water, capture, distillate, and then that will be the end of the steam run. So for now, let's just wait for it to heat up, and then I'll show you guys how the steam comes out. Hey guys, all right, looking at it, I can see we're having a lot of nice boiling in the boiler, starting to boil a little bit on the bubble plates as well. Temperature is increasing, almost 90 degrees Celsius, just under 200 degrees Fahrenheit. So as this is the steam run, I'm gonna let cooling water still fully closed, so all those vapors is gonna pass right through the still and out by either the breather on this side or the parrot itself. It's gonna be interesting to actually see where it comes out. I honestly can't remember where it came out. I've done this about 2021 is when I first did my steam run, so that's quite a long way back, and I can't remember exactly, but that's alright. That's also the time before I really started recording anything, so that's why I can't really remember or even go back of what it was. But yes, so far so good. As I said, I've emptied the holder, so I will try and capture again 2 liters of distillate as well. So the idea is just to see now how it goes. Like I see, it's definitely starting to condense more on top as well. That one's getting nice and hot. This one is still touchable. That one's cold and that one's cold, so it will definitely start to rise up as well. So I can see temperature there is still 20 degrees Celsius, so it just shows me there's no vapor yet all the way to the top. Like I said, cooling water is still closed. Everything is still cold here. So obviously when I did emptying out the boiler itself, the whole still I just disassembled right here to have the long round curve, as well as my top section here, and I also had that section separately. So when I had the round bent and the condenser empty, I did empty out all the water as well. So it is currently completely empty, so it will also help with that initial steam that passes through. There is no cooling water that needs to heat up. There's nothing inside currently, and the steam should just come out at the bottom. All right, this one has reached 100 degrees Celsius, so definitely vapors should come out now. Let's see. All right, so that one is very hot to the touch. This one is getting quite warm, so definitely it's slowly starting to pick up, but not there yet. So we are approaching it. I just want to see that initial steam that comes out, and like I said, then I'm going to time it 5 minutes. I do smell a little bit of vinegar still, but like I said, I just charged the boiler with water. I didn't rinse out anything else. So there is still some acid or vinegar water inside the still. Yes, like I said, the wind has picked up a little bit. See my holders blowing in the wind, but that's okay. Alright, it's getting hot to the touch, So we should see now temperature right here start to rise, and like I said, that's what we want to see. Then we know, yes, the steam and the hot vapor has now passed through most of the still, and it's at that turnaround point where it will tend to come down. We'll just give it a little bit more. Like I said, your ambient temperature, the wind, your stainless, your metal, everything is absorbing the heat from the vapors and causing it to condense, causing it to reflux. So if you're in a more closed ventilated area, things might be a little bit faster. But yeah, there we can see temperatures is rising nicely, so shows steam is now passing through. So it will also, yes, I can start to feel it's getting warm here as well. That's very, very good. So there is definitely a chance that as it passes over the bend and everything is still cold like it is now, that you will actually see a little bit of distillate forming. As soon as this heats up more and it's actually not condensing any of the vapors anymore, we will start to see steam coming out as well. So yes, 85 degrees Celsius, just above 180 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's really starting to heat up nicely now. I want to stay in constant, boiling very nice. Bubble tray is having nice activity. Moving that over a little bit. Hey, definitely still increasing more there. Start to feel that it's getting more hot to the touch. Just to get that last push over and see what we can get. Definitely see some distillate slowly dripping out. As I said, now your vapors has now passed over the bend and is starting to actually accumulate on the downcomer side. Yes, we can call it a downcomer side, but on the condensate side, the extension pipe, the breather and the parrot. So obviously your vapor tends to rise up, and at this moment here it will also tend to rise up and sit there by the bend. So that's why we're also now keeping the boiling alive. So it's as if you're making pressure, and that pressure will also push everything out, and that's also what we want. But as it's still now heating up here, there is some of the vapors that's condensing, and that's now the distillate that we're actually seeing that's dripping here. So this should be, yes, still very strong vinegar smell. Like I said, didn't rinse out the still at all. Steam is supposed to take out all the remaining acid or vinegar that's inside. So definitely will take that out. So it's now just about, I can feel definitely I can't touch it anymore, so it's really getting hot. Starting to feel the condenser as well heating. Then it also shows you that the pressure is starting to push through. A lot of pressure build up and then it wants to come around. So that's what we're looking for. So just keep it going, and no, we will see steam coming out from the parrot or the breather on this side. Alright, a little bit of change of scenery. So it's as of outside, the wind is just blowing too much and the wind is very cold. So it's actually causing a lot of reflux, of unwanted reflux that I don't want at this moment. I want to get steam out the breather or the parrot, but it's just not happening. And it's as if everything just keeps on getting colder and colder as the wind blows. So we've moved inside now. We just started up again, so temperatures are still rising up here. It's still around 55 degrees Celsius, so everything is still getting back up to temperature again. So I'm going to let it run for a while and just check what it does, and then hopefully we'll get steam that comes out here. Thank you. Finally, we got steam out of the still. Yeah, I can't believe the wind actually influenced it so much that the stainless steel and the copper just absorbs that cold wind and just reflux the whole time. So yes, I'm not sure if you guys can actually see, but yes, steam is actually coming out right here on the parrot. On the breather itself, nothing. It's actually cold, well, coolish as well. So, but this is what I wanted to see. I wanted to see this vapor that comes out. So obviously there's still a little bit of distillate coming out as it condenses, but this steam is what we want to see. Then we know that, alright, steam is now passing literally through the whole still, and it's
taking out all those last bit of vinegar, last bit of oil, last bit of last bit of flux, cleaning out your still entirely. This is your steam clean. This is what we want to see. So I'm very glad. Got a 5-minute timer now going. So after 5 minutes, I will then open up the cooling water and let it cool down, and then distillate will come out. We actually have got very little, maybe 200 milliliters of distillate that's already come out, but I'm not too worried about this. This steam, this is what I wanted to see. So I'm going to let it run now for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, cooling water open, let it start to condense here, capture the distillate again to about 2 liters, and then I know I'm happy. Then I know my steam run is done, and then I will just empty the boiler again. Will not rinse everything out, just clean the boiler and then get everything ready for that sacrificial run. Thank you, guys. Alright, 5 minutes of steaming is done. It has steamed quite a bit and quite nicely. Tried to take a video, but you can't really see the steam. Hopefully you guys will see it. So also obviously the distillate is quite hot every now and again when the drips comes out, but having a smell and a taste, I can start to taste that it's no more vinegar as well. So it also shows to me that the steam has taken out all the vinegar as well. So I'm very glad for that. So now I'm going to open up the cooling water slightly, and then it will start to fill here from the bottom. Still hot, waiting for it to come in, and the cooling water will now obviously fill all the way and then overflow there from the top. There I can feel it starting to get nice and cold. Yes. So obviously it will get cooler, and it will start to condense all those steam vapors, and then we actually will see the distillate starting to drip out more. So yeah, it's getting nice and cold here. So it's definitely, I can also see distillate definitely picking up as well. So that is good. Alright, so these definitely cooling water is working. Not really going to bother now checking the drum or the water tank on the outside. I want to close the parrot for now and then let it build up a bit to also overflow, because remember we had the vinegar as well overflowing on the parrot. So I want to make sure that the parrot itself is also clean. Yes, it's steamed through now as well, but I want to make sure that the water physically has also been lying there overflowing, making sure everything is nice and clean. Like I said, plan is to capture till about 2 liters as well, to make sure that my steam run is complete. So I'm just going to let it run now. It's still boiling nicely, no issues. I've checked again for leaks, because that was one of the things I thought was maybe a leak, but it was just the wind, the cold wind currently. So parrot, yes, it's filling up nicely. So I will just let it full, let it overflow, and this is nice and cold now. So definitely we tend to feel here it's still very hot. So as the vapors condenses now here, and it's actually getting nice and cold here, it will start to cool down these pipes as well. It's still very hot. The parrot itself is also hot, so it will tend to now gradually decrease the temperature of everything going down, and then you will have your distillate also comes out nice and cool. That's your main function of your condenser, is to make sure that it does condense any of your vapors that comes through, and you want to have it cold by the time it reaches here. But obviously, as we did now the steam run, everything is quite hot, but it's no problem. It is as expected, so I'm happy for that. Just gonna let it run now, and I think that's it for now for the steam run. You guys will probably see me again when we have set up the stove for the sacrificial run. I will, just like I did with the steam run beforehand, I will have all the parts disassembled, and then just show you how we add the neutral grain spirit inside here, or your sugar wash, or your cheap vodka. Doesn't matter what you want, as long as you have alcohol in here, and then we'll prep everything and have it ready for that sacrificial run. Alright, took some time, but we're there. I've got about 1.5 liters of distillate. I think I'm gonna call it a day. I also tasted, and it's definitely just water, no more any taste of vinegar, so I'm quite happy. So
switching off the induction plate. So all that will now basically happen, I will let it keep some time to cool down, and whatever's left will just all the way flow back into the boiler. Cooling water I will keep open just for a little while until the induction stove also switches off. And then it's basically, I am just gonna disassemble the major parts again and then get the boiler ready and charged for the sacrificial run. And then, like I said, we're going to use some neutral grain spirit that I had left from previously, but you can use a cheap sugar, basic sugar wash, or cheap vodka as well. As long as there's alcohol inside, that's what we're going to need for the sacrificial run. Alright, steam run is done. You guys will see it looks a bit different. It's another day. So today we're tackling up step number 4, the sacrificial alcohol run. That's where we would want to season our still. So what I recommend then is using a sugar wash that you made just to get that alcohol through the still, or get some cheap vodka. My recommendation is about 750 milliliters at 43%. Yeah, vodka with 750 milliliters of water for every 5 liters of capacity. So as I'm treating it still as a 10 liter, I'm going to sit with 1.5 liters of vodka to 1.5 liters of water. Now I don't have vodka with me, but I still have got some neutral grain spirits that I've fermented from malted barley and then did a high reflux run. You guys can check out one of those videos. So the problem with that is it's a 90% ABV for storage reasons. So I had to do a few calculations, measure it out, and get my neutral alcohol in here. So what I basically did is I set it at, if I wanted 1.5 liters at 43%, it will be roughly 645 milliliters of absolute alcohol. So because I got 90% ABV, I divided the 645 to 0.9. And I got about 716 milliliters of absolute alcohol. So I also want to take it at 720 milliliters. So then I said 1.5 or 1,500 milliliters negative the 720, I get to 780 milliliters of water to add. So the year I've measured out my 720, well, about 730 milliliters of neutral grain spirit. So let me give you guys a rough idea just to show that it is a high ABV. So the plan with this now is I need to add 780 milliliters of water to this one to have a 1.5 liter at about 43% ABV. Just want to lower it down slowly. So here we go. I will try and put it there, but yes, obviously you can see how far the hydrometer actually drops in. It's barely bubbling. There you can see it. It's just like on the edge. So that's why I have this amount in, just to get that hydrometer just bouncing a little bit. So high alcohol neutral grain spirits that I have here, gonna dilute it with water, but I'm also gonna add some hot water just to get things going a little bit faster. So then the plan is going to be that we will distill as normal. I will connect everything, do distillation here next to me, also easy access to outside for cooling water, and we want to recover about 40% of what we've added. So I'm roughly going to recover about 1.2 liters of distillate. Also, we will not drink it, as this is the last bit of sacrificial run for our cleaning for first time use. It will remove the last bit of residuals, metal taste or metallic taste, and it's not going to be drinkable. So that's why I said use cheap vodka, use a sugar wash, use whatever you have, but don't use your good stuff, as we will not drink it. All right, that's it. Let me get the still assembled and then we'll get distilling.
Alright, got everything set up. Don't have the plug in. Alright, got everything set up. Right, putting the soap on again. I'm going to put it at max power 2000 watt just to get things going. As soon as I see that there's a lot of vapor forming, I will bring it down to about 500 watts. I know using this induction stove, about 500 watts is the sweet spot for distillation. Doesn't matter what I do, from a gin to a rum, rectifying run, I'm happy with a 500 watt. Thinking about it, we're not really chasing cuts today. We just want to push the alcohol through. You know what? I'm going to keep it at 200 and see how it goes. Cooling water is still closed at this moment, so what I'll do is, as soon as I see a lot of vapor happening, I will open up the reflux condenser, defragminator, cooling water fully to see if we can push all the reflux down. If I see that that temperature starts rising, then I know definitely the cooling water is not sufficient. Also, I don't have the tap open out. Sorry, I also don't have the tap open fully. It's only slightly open on the outside, but I can maybe push it a little bit more, but it's okay. So here I will then just crack it open a little bit just to condense. So we're looking at two things today. Looking about 1.2 liters of distillate. I will keep the parrot open for now with my measuring jug just to see if we can capture it a little bit, just to see, yes, it's going through. Then I'll close it, then I'll use the longer one. It goes to 1200 millimeters here, so we will actually almost fill this one entirely. But yes, we will definitely check that out. It's going to be very exciting. I'm actually very excited. This is first alcohol distillation since 12th of June 2023. So yes, it's definitely more than 2 years ago since I fired up Distill and had alcohol through it. So very excited. Also, as always, I've got my notebook with me, writing down everything. I always check for temperature and the time, and then how much I distillate. I know this is just a sacrificial run and we're all going to throw it away, but I still like to keep records, as this is also the first distillation I'm going to do here in the Western Cape, down here at the coast, so also different elevation. It's also going to be interesting to see how it reacts or how it's different. Yes, I'm going to push the temperature today, so it might not be 100% accurate, but it will give me an idea already. So it will heat up now. We will definitely have a look at how it goes. Temperature, I've written down 19 degrees Celsius, so it's just about 65 degrees Fahrenheit on both of them. So I can basically say ambient temperature currently is about 19 degrees Celsius. So it's a lovely day. You know, sun is shining, the wind is actually quiet, so that's very nice. As you guys can see, cooling water I have connected, and you can actually see the drum as well. So that's my mobile capture drum at this stage, as I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the drums and also the tank at the back. Just normal council municipal water that I'm currently using. That's why I don't want to open it up too much, don't want to waste a lot of water. Capturing it in the tank, using that for gardening at the moment, but I do want to see if I can get a type of a circulation pump going so that I can recycle and reuse the water just for cooling purposes. Still is, yeah, it's coming up, definitely heating up. Like I said, I actually added hot water in here, so it should also heat up much faster. Connected everything. I had a bit of a cooling water leak here, so it's always good practice as well to, before you really start to distill, just run everything, especially on the cooling water side, and make sure everything is good and proper. I had a leak now, so I had some time to close the water again, disconnect, check what's happening, put it back in. If you were busy with a run and you are now busy capturing or wanted to capture distillate, and you open up your cooling water and you got a leak all of a sudden, then you have to stop your still, you have to stop your run, fix your leak, and then start again. So good practice. What I do before I actually put on my plate, I check that my cooling water is a-okay, good for use, so that when I do need it, I don't have any issues with it, and I can just start with the process. I can definitely see on the copper bobber plates here, and especially this one as well, definitely some metallics that has accumulated on it. So I'm very curious to see how this sacrificial run is going to go. Is it going to clear up the 4-inch bubble plate, and is it going to clear up this one specifically? Because we had a lot of bubbling from both the acid run and the steam run in these three, and they are quite nice. I like the color of them. They can see they're really good, but this one not as much. So it's going to be interesting to see how that one reacts. Yes, that's also the reason why we do the sacrificial run, to make sure everything is cleaned out. And that's also one of the reasons, if it's going to clean this one out specifically, what I hope now, that's the metallic taste that you will still have in your distillate, and that's the metallic taste that you want to get out. And that's also one of the reasons why I said don't drink what's come out here. It's called a sacrificial run for a reason, because you're sacrificing that alcohol to make sure your still is clean, seasoned and perfect. So when you do your first run after this, that you know spirits is going to be good, your still is going to thank you, and it's going to give you good and proper results. Alright, I'm going to take a run through, check a bit on the cooling water side, feel on the boiler, and then hopefully we will get something going. Now it's not hot to the touch yet. I can see it's a little bit warm, but it's going. Chat again. Cracking open on the reflux condensers water a little bit. As I can see, there's now a little bit of fogginess happening on the side glass. That's also one of the reasons why I enjoy the side glasses so much. You can actually see what's happening in your still. That I can see, yes, something's starting to happen. Let me do my adjustments. It's probably still going to take a lot of time before it really gets to here, but I just like to be prepared and have it ready. I will also just have a look in the drum outside, you know, how's the water flow going. Like I said, I don't want it to be open up too much, but we want to see if we can maybe push that reflux down. I remembered from a previous time up in Gauteng that it was summer as well. That's also one thing that I have to remember, is that I had a full run, a stripping run, had the induction plate on full 2000 watts, had my reflux condenser open fully, as well as the water that I had at that stage fully, and it was as if it was either my condenser was too small or the water was a little bit just not cold enough, and I started getting product through distillate, and I didn't want at that stage. My idea was to push everything down to see if I can run it for half an hour, get the still stabilized, and then open up or close the reflux cooling water so that we can start to have distillate through. So it's actually going to be curious today to see if we can try and replicate that as well. Have our reflux condensers cooling water fully open, see if we can push down everything while we're having it on max power. So I think we'll try that. I think that's also part of my distillation journey, is that I like to experiment. I like to see how things, if I think of something, whether I've done it before or I want to try and do it now, I take the chance and I say, you know, let's try it. I'm wondering about it, let's try it and see. If I can't get it successful today, I will play around. See if I need colder water, or maybe I need a slightly larger reflux condenser. I like to play around with that to see how you can improve and better your distillations. It's all about making it fun, making it experimental, and yes, it's the same process. Just a stripping distillation is technically just a stripping run or a stripping process, but it's nice to know that you have so much versatility in a still like this. And yes, it's really excited to be back. Alright, I can see a little bit of condensation forming now, falling down. Yes, boiler is getting hot to the touch at this moment. Glass is still very cold, so that's why a lot of the condensation is coming down. So even here it's still at 19 degrees Celsius, so it shows me that no vapor heat has really got to the limbic head yet. So all these cold metal is now absorbing that heat and is condensing the vapors. As soon as all these metals start to get hot as well, then you will start to see your vapors passing up higher, and then obviously go all the way through. but it's starting to look good. Let me quickly have a look at that water in the drum. It's a little low, open a little more. Just make sure I've got enough reflux. Cooling reflux. Thank you. Alright, got it open a bit more, so I'm happy with that. We will see. I can see it's starting to get warm here as well. Still at 20. Let's give it another 10 minutes and then we'll see how it goes. Alright, interesting enough, I started smelling a little bit of alcohol. So if I put my hand over the surge arrestor, I can actually feel a little breeze almost, and if I can smell it, there's definitely alcohol. But it's interesting, temperature is picking up. I'm just going to bring it down slightly. Bring it at 1600 watts. So temperature is increasing now. I can see, yeah, it's definitely picking up. So we got 10 minutes in. Alright, so we got about 28 degrees and top one is still 20 or 19. So I'm just making a little note for me here to say bringing down to 1600 watts. Right, definitely see nice accumulation starting there. See if this one, still smelling a lot of alcohol vapor. It just can be that it's your bad vapors that's coming through the still that's not condensing, and it might be that when I did my distillation on a neutral grain spirit, I didn't take all that harsh, or I want to say all the 4 shots, but I should have left it open a little bit longer to make sure all that harsh vapors pass out or vaporize. It might just be that, but it's okay. Alright, definitely see temperature is now picking up rapidly. That's good. Okay, I'll put here turning point. Let's see, it's 42. Still got 0 there. It's passing the 160 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's getting there. Still staying 20. That's good. Like I said, I've got my reflux open. Let's open this more. Let's see if we are able to push down everything. Okay, it's nice and cold. I can definitely see now a lot of condensation here as well. It's looking good. And let me get it's getting very hot to touch. I'm not going to play around there anymore. Feels like it has stopped here now on the surge arrestor. So that's okay. Alright. Getting condensation here by the top plate as well. You can clearly see how everything is starting to really condenses and comes down. Reflux getting pushed down. So we will now keep an eye on this temperature. If we see that this temperature increases, then I know my reflux is not fully efficient, or my reflux condenser is not fully efficient. I've got cooling water, I've got it open a lot. I can also hear it by the tank outside, so it's definitely pushing a lot of water through this small guy at this moment. See, temperature is rising there. Okay, I'm going to open this cooling water as well. So I think I will definitely play around on another day to see what we can do with this reflux condenser, and also on the speed of the run as well. It might just be that, I'm not sure, but that's a part of doing this, is having that fun part. Okay, just noting down my time quickly, getting down. So we got here 81 degrees Celsius, just below 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Definitely rising there now. Got about, well, just past 50, about 55 degrees, going to 130 degrees Fahrenheit. Got cooling water open on the condenser as well. So we will see now if we're going to start to get distillate on the parrot and see how it goes.
But you can see it's having nice activity. You know, all plates are bubbling, so I like that. It's also still bubbling there. I do see a lot of other condensate here as well. Normally, especially when I have alcohol, a slow run, even if there's condensate, you will not have this where it almost looks like rain against the window sill where you can't clearly see through it. Alcohol vapors tend to be clear, where water vapor tends to be this, I don't know, not 100% transparent color, a real rainwater color. Alright, it's going alright. We can play around now by reducing the heat on the, reducing the watts on the plate to have a slower run. Like I said, it's a rectifying or a sacrificial run. I'm not going to do anything with this distillate. I'm not going to do any cuts, so I'm fine with it coming out now. I'm fine with distillate being accumulated. That's 100% fine. I just wanted to make sure that I've got activity on all my plates. That's what I wanted to see. Still want to see what's going to happen with this bubble plate, if it's going to get clearer. We'll see that one as well, what it does and how it looks. So things are looking good. It's very nice to see the activity again. And on the search arrestor, nothing is coming out anymore. I can feel there's no breeze. Oh, there, just a little bit of distillate is coming out of the parrot. Let it fill up a little bit, just so we know that it's clear there as well. So I need to get myself a nice watch or a way to get the time of. I've got a nice clock there, so it's working. So we say we got about 5 milliliters. Temperature is staying at 81 degrees Celsius. That one, we got about 79 degrees Celsius, about 174 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's a little bit high for me. Shows that definitely I'm running it a little bit hot. So if I was doing a type of a rectifying run or a rectifying run or a run that I want to cut, I would definitely reduce on my heat. But it's okay. Like I said, I know my sweet spot on this induction plate is 500 watts. 500 watts, I do distillation 100%. Reflux works 100%. So I tended to know my still. So like I said, I'm happy at what's happening at this moment. No problem, it's looking good. Let me get our alcohol meter out ready as well, and then I will close the parrot, and then we'll see what we actually get what's the percentage ABV that actually comes out on this side. Got my tongue twist there almost, eh? Alright, so we got closing the parrot, so it should fill up now. I actually want to have a look and see how that distillate looks. So when you drop it in, just be careful, you don't want to let it fall in. So yes, at the moment obviously there's nothing in yet, so we will see as it fills. Make sure we capture it. Let's see. Well, it looks clear. Smells strong. It looks clear, but yes, like I said, I don't want to really taste it. Just want to put it there. Let's put it there, that's fine. Okay. So everything is looking good. Just curious now to see what is the ABV that's going to come out here. It's filling, we'll just give it a chance. At least here, extender is nice and cool. You guys also see that I've got currently the condenser on top and the extension pipe at the bottom. The idea is that if I want to move up the parrot, I can just put it here and I still have the condenser. Then I can actually capture it straight on the table from the floor. But as I wanted to make sure I've got all my equipment running to make sure everything is good, that's why I have the extender here. If I know that I'm doing a run where I wanted some more copper, I tend to swap them around so that I can have that copper mesh inside the bed, as well as copper mesh then in the extender pipe coming down, and then I would have my condenser here at the bottom. So, but yes, this setup today is 100% fine. I've got no issues with it. Still coming up. Looks like it's about here. So it's still coming up. Still good. Let's quickly have a run through. Okay. So we did capture about 30 moles. Like I said, it's not really going to do much with that. Staying straight on 81, that is good. About 178 Fahrenheit. So this also shows to me that still is balanced. Still got a lot of alcohol in here. That's why it's staying at 81. So that's good. On the top, staying at that 78. Did I say 78? Ah, so I got 72 here. It was supposed to be 78, but it's fine. But it's staying at 78 degrees. And about 174 degrees Fahrenheit. So it is running a little bit hot for me. If I would have done a normal run, would have brought it down. That plate does look like it wants to clear up, so that's a good sign. That's what I wanted to see. I think this one definitely is also starting to look better, so I'm glad about that. Where are we with this one? It's coming up almost like around here now. So it's soon we will definitely see it starting to come out. So yes, Sacrificial Run is going very well. We will definitely capture about 1.2 liters or 1200 milliliters of distillate. I might let it run a little bit longer just to make sure that everything is nice and clean. But if you capture about 40% of what you charged your still with, your boiler, that will be fine. And this was also our last step in our first use cleaning. So this is how we make sure that still is now good and proper to use. Everything is nice and clean, and that we are ready for that first run to make sure that we got good product. Alright, it's about to overflow. Just want to make sure that I've got it on the right spot. And then we will see how much is the ABV that comes out. Alright. Okay. Let's see. Oh, it's coming out. So there's 90 and it's still dropping in a little bit. Let me see, we got 95, 4, 3. We got about 92% ABV. I must say I'm very surprised. Okay, it was a little bit of clear product that I have in here, but I'm very surprised to see that the still is doing this good. I went through my notes actually just to see when I did my first Sacrificial Run, and that night I got a 88% on my first, and we played around with the reflux and then we pushed it up to 90. And I remember that we were like, I was with my friend Kuna, the one that I have the photo with the when I went to fetch the drums in Sasselberg. So I remember that we played around with the reflux and we kept on checking, how's this ABV coming, how's this ABV coming, and then when we hit 90 we were like, that's brilliant. Today I'm starting off with a 92. So it definitely also shows that how I have grown with distillation, how I've learned what to do and how to do it. You know, yes, I tried experiment today just with the reflux, but knowing that having more reflux down is purifying your run, and that actually by the time it gets out here, you really got a very higher or more purer product that comes out. So yes, it shows that doesn't matter how you start and when you start, the main thing for me is just start. You know, if you have that dream or if you have that something that you want to do, like I said, whether it's distilling, singing or painting, if you have that dream and just start with it, just go with it. You know, don't sit and say, yeah, but I don't have time, or I don't have this, I don't have that. Start small. I remember when I started distillation, you just start small, you learn. I mean, even today I've learned again about my reflux condenser, and I will definitely play around with that. So now, the joys of doing something that you love, that's very good. Run is going very well, I must say. I'm very pleased. definitely doing very well. We're slowly capturing. What's that at the bottom? I can't remember anymore. 100. All right. Okay. So we'll check. We've got now about maybe 50 milliliters. So there's our 100. So we got 100 increments on the large ones and 50s on the small ones. But yeah, this will now just run until we got to capture it up nice and high. Just gonna take one more reading for now, and then just let it run. Like I said, I got about 50 milliliters currently. Temperature staying at 81 degrees, and still got 78 there. All right, so guys, I'm just gonna let it run now, and then we'll have a recap after I'm done, and also just feedback on what has happened, what we got, and what anything else that I saw, as well as having a short recap of the 4 steps, and then that will be it for today. But thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. Cheers. Hey everyone, had a little bit of panic at the disco, so my tank started overflowing, so I was definitely using a lot more cooling water than I anticipated. So actually close the reflux completely, and you can definitely see how it has changed the still. The temperature here has increased quite significantly. We got now a 94 degrees Celsius. That's basically 200 degrees Celsius, 200 degrees Fahrenheit, sorry. So it does show that we're now at a place where all the vapor is now actually passing through the still. You can also see it's starting to get more cloudy on this side as well, showing that with the high heat, it's taking a lot of water vapor up as well. Due to that, I've got the reflux condenser's cooling water fully closed. It has pushed up the temperature here as well. I mean, we got 84 degrees Celsius on that one. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to start to reduce a little bit. I would rather have it a little bit cooler run and let it run a little bit longer to make sure that I've got more alcohol trying to pass through the still. I also closed a little bit on the condenser as well, but I did check that it's still very nice and cold, still getting distillate out, so I'm still happy. I want to try and see if I can get away from this cloudiness on the stills, as it's pulling up a lot of water vapor, and I can see my temperatures really starting to increase there as well. So I'm going to play around. I can see that ABV here has now dropped to about 85% alcohol, so it's definitely what you got, about 170 proof. So I can definitely see that reflux is definitely working when you have it got open and it's pushing down that vapor into the still. I mean, it has pushed it down all the way to here, that even here it was clear, but it's now getting cloudy as that water droplets is also going with the alcohol droplets. So I mean, it's even picked up here more. It's now 95 degrees Celsius, so it's definitely still heating up a lot. So I'm going to check how it runs. Like I said, I'm running at a little bit lower heat, lower voltage, lower wattage, lower wattage on the still. Looking good. See, my distillate flows also slowed down a little bit, but it's as expected as I'm reducing the heat. I just want to see how everything looks. Just want to look at the cooling water as well on the outside. I've got a lot more holders now that I'm getting my water together. As I would normally run it at 500 watts with just cooling water pinched up a little bit, I will not use as much cooling water. It's just the fact that I was treating it as of a type of a stripping run where I was pushing speed through, that I was using a lot of cooling water, that I ended up starting to accumulate a lot of cooling water. And that's also that 1,000-liter tank at the back. If I can get a pump that I can circulate the water, I believe definitely the corner water will not get as hot as quick. I mean, 1,000 liters is a lot to really circulate. I mean, this tank that I have here is 250 milliliters. It had about 250 milliliters, 2,500, no? 250 liters, here we go. It's 1,000 at the back, 250 liters the small one, and 100 liters on the blue one, yes.
So it had about 50 liters of water in that I had from the vinegar run and the steam run. So it has picked up quite a lot as I was pushing the reflux condenser. So it has overflowed. So I don't think, if I do want to do a reflux run again and then see how much I can push it down, I might definitely see if I can get that pump going in the back. Right, I can actually see it looks like the still has died now. Let me see what's going on. Play around a little bit. I might increase the heat slightly. It might just be that the still was running at full blast, high temperature, and it needs just to cool down and let that alcohol vapor then start to come up again. So I'm going to let it run for a while, just see what happens. Like I said, I've got cooling water on. Reflux, I can actually feel it's really hot. Maybe I'll just crack it open a little bit just to make sure that it stays nice and cool. It can push down a little bit of reflux, that's fine. Okay, still going to keep it at 500 watts. Like I said, that's my sweet spot when I normally do my distillations. I'm going to let it run there, let it through, and then I'll chat with you guys a little bit later. I can actually already see how temperature is starting to decrease here, so that's good. We'll give it a chance. We got 80 ABV at this moment, so definitely can see that there's a lot of water droplets that came through, but it's part of the fun, part of the experiment. That's why I like it. Chat to you guys again. Alright, I left it for half an hour to stabilize out. It's very interesting to see that I had the induction played on 500, I actually increased it to 800 watts. I also played a bit with the reflux condensers cooling water. I had it open at 2 turns. I actually closed it down to only half a turn open. Temperature fluctuated around between anything from 78 to about 82 degrees Celsius while I was playing around. ABV, very interesting. So we started out at a 92%. At the peak of the run, it actually went down to 80% ABV, and it has slowly recovered again to about a 84% ABV. But I'm quite happy at how it has stabilized. I think the Sacrificial Run has done its job. I think what was left is now cleaned out. So what I'm actually going to do now is going to close the reflux condensers cooling water entirely. We will definitely start to see that temperature on the top will start to rise, as it will show that it's now no more vapors are getting cooled and everything is going to get passed through. So alright, cooling water is fully closed, so we'll actually stop to see this reflux that comes down here. We will stop to see that will not come through anymore, and like I said, we will see that temperature will start to rise. Obviously now, yeah, it's starting to get hot now, so there was still cooling water in here. So it's actually pushing out that cooling water and heating it up, so actually some of it will go down the tube to the bucket, but that's fine. There we can see temperature has already started to rise. You can also see how your distillator is starting to push out more as well, because instead of having reflux pushing your vapors down, you're now allowing that vapors to pass through, so you're starting to capture your distillate. So that is good. I can definitely see few to almost no reflux coming through anymore. So temperature is rising very rapidly. Let me quickly do a few readings while we just wait for it to settle down. So I've got about 600 milliliters captured already. Boiler temperature went to 100 degrees Celsius, so it's just over 210 Fahrenheit. Yeah, it has picked up now, so obviously not yet stabilized, but it's currently at 94 degrees Celsius. And like I said, we sat here at an 84% ABV. So I'm still going to let it run, still aiming for my 1200 milliliters, so I'm about halfway. And like I said, it's now flowing out much quicker. So we will definitely see that the ABV will start to decrease again. The hydrometer will push out more. No reflux, temperature has also increased. I will just have a look at the cooling water, as I did reduce it, but here's still very nice and cool. I mean, distillate is still coming out nicely. It's warming up here a little bit, so I might just open a little bit on the cooling water here. But overall, I'm very happy, very glad. It's nice to see that I'm a bit rusted in my distillation, but it's good. It shows that I've got room to improve. You've got always room to improve. So next run will most probably be a little bit more smoother, but as this is a sacrificial run, I wasn't too worried about the distillate and what's the percentage or quantity and the results of my distillate. So I'm quite happy with that. I can actually already see how the distillate is, the hydrometer is actually pushing out. It's already at 80% ABV. So it's definitely, there's not a lot of alcohol left in the boiler. So it tends to be a lot of water left. So that water vapor is now actually passing through. I mean, you can see it's already 100 degrees Celsius there as well. So I would almost say just water might be coming through with a little bit of alcohol still. So I'm really happy with that. That's fine. I mean, it is pushing up. It's already reaching about 75% ABV. So in a sense, I would say I've almost stripped the tower completely of alcohol. So my reflux is working. The low temperature or low wattage input is working. So the still is still functioning as it should. So I'm very happy and excited. I must push it for 2000 watts immediately, as the small defragminator reflux condenser is my limiting factor at this moment. But overall, I'm quite happy, quite satisfied. I'm going to let it run, let it accumulate to 1200 milliliters. When I'm done there, I will switch off the still, and then we'll quickly have a recap of the 2 days of work that we have done, and then that will be it. Thank you, guys. Alright guys, I've decided to actually call it a day on the sacrificial run. Reason for that is that I've got 0 on my hydrometer. First time I've ever had this in my whole distilling career. Very interesting. I've never had a run pushed to this limit where it's actually giving me 0 on the hydrometer. So it's very cool. It shows me that I'm actually only passing water through the still now. So I've distilled any alcohol from the boiler. It's in the cylinder here, so I'm actually very happy. I measured the cylinder as well. It was about at an 88% ABV, but I will definitely measure it again when we're done. But yes, I'm very satisfied. I think the rectifying run went very well, very interesting. So I am gonna switch off the induction plate. It does have its cooling fan. It will blow a little bit. This guy is dripping a little bit, but I'm gonna take this one out, and then I am gonna drain the parrot as well. Just put it there. Now it's going that way. That's fine. Let me just check. Thank you for my lovely wife for assisting me there. Alright, I want to drain this one and then get it in there. Okay. So what do we got? It's still bubbling a little bit. Alright. Yes. Probably let's put it here. We've got about a 70%. I just want to make sure it's not quite okay. Actually got 73% ABV, and let me just remove this one. 900 mils. All right, so I'll definitely write that down. So we got 900 milliliters at 72% ABV. Not too bad. I think that was a really good run. I'm happy. So still I will just clean out, rinse out everything again, and make sure everything is air dried, maybe for 2 or 3 days, and then I will pack up the still. And let's quickly get to the table, and then we have a recap. All right, so to get a recap of everything, so this is my cleaning run, or cleaning for first use. So whenever you have a brand new still or it's been in storage for quite a while, I would follow this procedure for cleaning out your still for first use.
we had it on 4 steps. So first step was the initial wash with soap and water and some copper care. There you fully disassemble your entire still and you wash everything with some dishwashing detergent to try and get all the metal shavings out, any residual oils that's left after manufacturing. You rinse your still thoroughly after that. Copper care, that's where we use the citric acid to treat all the copper parts to get all that oxidation off. You can use vinegar or citric acid. I used a 10 grams of citric acid per 1 liter of water to get a nice strong citric acid mixture. Then I'll lay my copper parts in there for maybe half an hour. Basically the same time that I used to wash my still, all the stainless steel parts, that's the time that the copper will be lying in. Then I just rinse it out. I don't scrub anything. I would just maybe touch it a little bit with the sponge, but I don't go any abrasive on it. Yes, like I said, use a soft cloth or a sponge, no abrasive or on the copper or stainless. Step number 2 was our acid clean. That's where we use the vinegar or citric acid for your cleaning out. You will reassemble your still like here, have your still fully. I would use 750 milliliters of vinegar to 2 liters of water per 5 liter capacity. Then you will fill your boiler, run it as a normal distillation run, and then you collect 1 liter of distillate for every 5 liters of capacity. So this step, it gives you that acidic vapor through your whole still. It helps to remove flux and oil residues and also helps to start to passivate your still to get it ready for your run. Step number 3 was our steam run. That's that pure water flush. So that's where we'll fill our boiler 50% capacity, clean water. We also don't rinse out any of the vinegar after the vinegar run. You basically just empty your boiler, fill it with 50% water, and then you start your run. So you will still have a little bit of acidity in your still. So then we will turn on the heat, full blast if you can, and run your still with no cooling water. We want to get that steam right out of the parrot or right out of your collection pot, chamber, whatever you have there. So that's the one thing where I had the wind blowing that cooled down everything and no steam was coming out. As soon as we moved it inside, you could see the steam coming out. As soon as steam comes out, you let it run for 5 minutes because you want to have that steam stripping right through the whole still to remove all that last bit of acidity that's in your still. After that, you will open up your cooling water and recover about 25% of the water that you've added. So this flush out all the lingering vinegar that's still, or acid smell that's still in your still, and it fully steam cleans your still as well. Last step is what we did today, is the Sacrificial Alcohol Run. So that's where we will season our still and make it ready for that proper and first distillation that we want to do. So like I said, you can use a sugar wash or cheap vodka. I use the neutral grain alcohol that I made previously. Just remember to dilute it down. You don't want to use the 90% immediately, or you might have too much of it. You don't want to waste a lot of it. So I did water it down. I got my more or less 43% ABV. So 750 milliliters of vodka at 43% with 750 milliliters of water is a 1-to-1 ratio for every 5 liters capacity. So I used about 1.5 liters of alcohol at 43% with 1.5 liters of hot water to get the still going. Like I said, I wanted to recover about 40% of my initial charge volume. I only recovered 900 milliliters, not 1,200 milliliters, but it's just the fact that I've stripped out all the alcohol from the still, so I'm quite happy. Like I said, we ended up with 900 milliliters at 72% ABV, so that's good. So this is our last cleaning for first use. Also, I will not drink this, I will just throw it away. That's why it's called a sacrificial run. So our still is now ready for use. So your still will thank you, and you will also taste on your products that it really does your still good and does your products good doing this first clean. So I know sometimes you will get a still and you're just really eager to use it and you want it to still immediately. Take time, take care, make sure your still is proper and good and ready for that first use. I'm glad I did it my first time. I'm glad I'm doing it now as well. And like I said, I can saw that I was a little bit rusty, so it actually
helps me getting into swings again, in the swing of things again, so that I know everything is good. So our next few videos will then definitely be sugar wash. I want to do basic fermentation, 2 different types of sugar washes, get them ready in the garage. After the sugar washes, we will do some distillation, so it will be quite fun to see how that's going to work out. If you guys feel like you have something to share, or maybe you do it a little bit different, please pop it in the comments. I would love to hear it. This was a little bit of time consuming. Like I said, I did it over 2 days, but it's really fun and it's really getting me into the swing of things again. For me now, it's just going to be a little bit of cleaning. I'm just going to rinse out all the parts, and like I said, let it air dry as well for maybe 2 or 3 days, and then I will assemble the still and put it in a corner again. It's a nice talking point for someone that walks in that hasn't seen it yet. So thank you very much guys for watching. I hope this helps you with doing your first clean as well. Even if you maybe just want to do the vinegar run or the steam run or sacrificial run, I hope some part of this video finds informative for you. And as always, be awesome, be kind, and be yourself. Thanks guys. Cheers.